Okay, so Carrie, let's first talk about how to ride a straight line. So we need your horse to be in shoulder 4. Do you know what shoulder 4 is? Yes. You have him too stiff. He needs to look like this. Not shoulder in yet, but shoulder 4. So you create more suppleness, okay? For his neck, we need to always have one side of the neck shorter and one side of the neck longer. So he's always into an outside rein. Okay, see there how he gets rounder? Okay, so on the right rein, sometimes you can flex him a little bit left. That's okay, but keep pushing him off of this leg. Yeah, okay? So when you go down the long side, I want you to create suppleness. So sometimes a little here, yeah, sometimes a little shoulder in, and then sometimes a little outside flexion. Okay? So that you're not letting him just in the knees. Okay? Okay. So again, you guys can see a little bit how he wants to be a little flat and a little long, and he's not being a bad boy. But if you look at the balance and you think about what we've talked about over the last 2 days, right now he doesn't look like a third level horse. Yeah, he looks like a first level horse. So we have to be able to first work on the basics a little bit, that he stays more supple so that the half halts actually work. Okay? When he's sort of stiff and strung out like that, then she's not really going to be able to put the weight back on the hind legs. So now we need to tell her that that outside flexion, she's holding it a little too long. All right? That it's a couple of strides, and then she smoothly changes. Okay? And more bend to the inside when she bends to the inside. Yeah, when she flexes into the outside, she's holding in there too long. Okay? It's maybe 3 strides. Okay? Yeah. And then when she bends to the inside, she needs more. Yeah? Okay, and make sure that his hind leg stays on the rail. Okay? And now I also want her to add some trot-walk transitions. And in the walk, I want her to touch him with the whip and try to push his hind legs underneath him a little bit more. Okay? And then when she goes back to trot, try to keep that package. Yeah? So maybe 3 transitions, trot, walk on the long steps. Okay. So yesterday we used transitions to help create a half halt to slow a horse down, but you can also use the transitions to create a half halt to engage the horse. All right? That first step of walk that they take, they by nature lower their haunches. So if you can capture that feeling a little bit and then keep that into the trot. So you don't want to walk for long periods of time because then you lose it. It's more a transition walk, back to trot. Okay, so halt. Okay. So, and then you say a little bit. Touch in, 9. Yeah? Good boy. So that you try to get him a little bit more compact. Okay? So, in the walk, 2 steps. Walk, walk, trot. Come this way. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So if she doesn't get a better feeling in the trot this time around, I'm going to go to canter. Because a lot of times in the canter, the horse is a little bit easier to get connected and to get more supple. So, you know, we're not going to beat our heads against the wall here with the trot, because if we can get him a little bit more packaged in the canter, it should help the trot. Okay? So, you know, depending on your horse, you have to someday start at trot, someday start at canter. This is getting a little better. Touch, 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 touch. Yeah? Up there, good. Supple, supple, good. Touch, touch. That's getting a little better now. Good. So we're sneaking up on second level balance now. All right, so we're getting a little bit closer to where it's still not where we need to be for third level, but we're getting closer. Okay? So again, she doesn't know this horse very well, but I think having a little bit more of this feel where he's, you know, not so strung out, and he, you know, talking about conformation, which we have been for 2 days, his body angle just standing there is pretty flat. Yeah? Okay, so let's work on the canter. Yeah, that was better. Okay, was better. So now we're going to canter. Yep. Not too much bend in the canter. Okay? A little bit here, outside flexion. Touch, let go. Touch, let go. Touch, let go. Touch, let go. Yeah? And sit back. And under, up here to that range. Yeah? Okay. That's getting better. Good girl. Move him around, get him a little bit. You know, he's a little tricky because that neck wants to be really straight and long. So I almost, even if his neck was up and he was a little too open in the poll, I almost think that's okay for now. Then she, yeah, good. Then she can work a little bit on just getting the poll to come a little bit more on the vertical. Good. 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 Yeah? Good. Better. Okay, now walk. Yeah? So, what I've said is for me, because of the conformation of his neck, it's hard to have him up. So if he's up, even a little open here, is better than down and pulling. Yeah? So think about first the neck up. I know. He says, yeah. And then you try to bring it just like so. Where he flexes here, but without dropping the neck. Okay? So sharpen your reins. Keep the neck up. And then flexing. No, just here. Always right there. Okay? And a little flex. Jiggle your wrist.
No, with
Good. Jiggle here. Now jiggle over here. Good. Yep, no. See what he does? So he needs to give without pulling the neck down. Okay? So you sit here. When he pulls down, tap, tap with the whip. Okay? All right. Go canter again. I think okay. Now she has a good position. So she's strong enough in her seat and strong enough in her position that she should be able to get this little bit, that's better. Good. See, for me here, this is fine. There, his nose is enough. It's just slightly in front of the vertical. Body back. Sit back. Good. Now she just very quietly loosens him a little bit, shakes her wrist. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Gets him a little bit softer there in the palm. Yesterday we talked about looking at the outside front leg in the canter, that we want it to touch on the vertical, on the perpendicular, and lifting off for flexion. So here it's getting closer. He still takes the shoulder just a tiny bit over that left front leg. There is better. So I think she's good. That's it. Super. Super. Yeah. Okay, walk. Good. 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 Now trot looks a little better, I think. Okay, after the canter? All right. So now, so if she can kind of think about keeping that package. There we go. Good. And, now typical, you add impulsion, you lose submission. Good. She's getting a little better here. Okay. Okay. Now, ask her to trot. Yep. Round, round. Good. Good. Aha. Good job. Tickle with the whip. Little tickle with the whip. Tap, 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 tap. Get the hind legs quicker. Yep. Good. Tap, 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 come on. Make him a little bit mad. Come on, Carrie. Make him mad. Yep. Good. Yep. Come on, baby, work. There you go. Good work. Yep, that's it. Tap. Come on. Come on, go. Energy. Zoom. Sit. Good. Now supple. Use your wrist. Okay. Tap again. Yep. Use your wrist. Good. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Winners. We are winners. Yay! That's what we want. You guys see? Yay, we did it. Woo! Yay! Everybody. Woo! Super. Yeah. Now tell her go straight ahead, shoulder in. Yeah? Yep. Shoulder in down the line. In that trot.
Trot.
In trot. There you go. So remember for the bronze medal, we have to get 6s on everything. Right? If you get a 5, we have to get a 7. So, again, it's one of those little bit, got to make those odds work. You know what? Yeah. Good. Okay, straighten. Yeah, and trot, 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 come. Go, go. Yep, good, good. Supple, supple. Play. Yeah, good job. Yay. Good. Yeah. Okay, tell her to come center line, half pass left. Do we have a sign language for her?
Yeah, so half pass.
Okay.
For what? Yeah.
And I have to make up things.
Yeah. She didn't see center line though, so. Yep.
Okay. So. You. Okay. Good. That. So your shoulders go where his shoulders go. Okay? Tell her to come from center line. Yep. And Terry, come. Terry, look at the shoulders. Shoulders. There you go. There. Good, good, good. Tell her one more time. I know. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now we're going to reverse. Shoulders, 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 shoulders. Good. Now over. Shoulders, shoulders. Good. 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 Oops. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good. All right. How about let's have a walk break? We feel the horse not listening to the outside leg behind the girth. All right. So we're like this, and we're like, I don't think he's listening to my leg. So you pull your shoulder back, you put the leg further back, which really does nothing but make things worse, okay? If you feel that in your half pass, you should take away the bend, go to the more simple exercise, which is your leg yield, and say, get your ass over here. Tap, 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 tap with your whip. In other words, the first aid in the half pass is the horse, when you put that outside leg on, woo, he's got to go. He's got to scoot. All right? Then we can go back to the more sophisticated aid that we talked about with the other horses yesterday, that really, if the finished product, the half pass, should be ridden off the inside leg for more engagement, more cadence. The only time you want the outside leg is in the first aid to go over, okay? So, but at the beginning, when you're first training a half pass, the horse is like, oh, seriously? This is really hard. So you have to almost be thinking about doing a few steps half pass, few steps leg yield, which is what we're going to do with Carrie now. Okay? Few steps, and then when she turns it into leg yield, I want the whip and the go sideways leg, and I want her to get after him a little, make him a little hotter off that leg. And then you're quiet, and you go back to half pass. So what you don't want to do is try to make the correction in the more difficult movement, because that's not fair. You want to go down the food chain a little bit and make your correction in the easier movement. All right. Let's see if she's got this. Then first. Whip in your right hand. Yeah. Okay? And 3 steps, 2, 3. Then leg yield. And make him nervous with that leg. Yeah? Then quiet, half pass. Okay? If sticky again, like heel, get. Okay? Okay. So you saw the exercise where we did half pass shoulder in, half pass shoulder. That was to reinforce the inside leg. This is a good exercise to reinforce the outside. Okay? Now, leg heel. Pep. Good. Half pass. You see how much easier this one was? Good. Super. Tell her to put the whip in the other hand now. And you know, this is a little bit too what I mean by testing things. Instead of doing half pass forever, try half pass shoulder and half pass shoulder. Is it easy? If it is, then your horse is being good. If you can do half pass leg heel, half pass leg heel, half pass haunches, you know, change things. We don't change things. We get so involved with the movements that we ride movement, and then they're not followed. You know, I mean, it's like, why? That was much better. So for me, the half pass for her has to be a little bit, oh, good. Woo! Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Tell her to walk. That was good. Yep. So fluid, it was easy, she wasn't struggling. And that's the key, is you aren't going to get more than a 5.5 or a 6 if you're struggling. Okay? So we have to make it look, right? We have to keep remembering Carl Hester, right? Dressage isn't hard, we have to make it look easy. That's the hard part. And then we're going to chain train arm to feet with one flying chain near center line. Okay? And then T to S, one flying chain. So that I can see what they look like. Okay? We'll see what happens and then we'll try to fix it up. Hopefully, sometimes it takes a little longer. The other nice thing about third one as a judge, if the change is easily fixable, you could still get a 5. It's not like Grand Prix if it's late, it's a 4. Third 3, we have a little different standard. We're a little bit meaner about it. Obviously, if they never change behind ever, then it's going to be a 4. But sometimes we're a little bit more forgiving the first test of the level. Hannah's much better now. Not near center line, but still a 6. Okay, so remember that's our goal. Okay. Yeah. So the changes are not the problem. It's his reaction to the aids. Yeah? Okay. So that's a little bit of timing. Yeah? And also being able to keep the collection. Yeah? He starts to pull and run. Yeah? And dive down. Yeah? Yeah? When he pulls and dives down, quietly halt as quickly as you can. Yeah, sit back. Halt. Rein back a couple of steps and go right back to stand. All right, the rein back will help him sit down. Okay, so what we're going to do, no flying changes. We're going at center line to halt, rein back, and then pick up the other lead. And we're going to do that a couple of times so that he starts to anticipate coming back. You see? We're going to be sneaky. So then after about the third time we do this, he's going to be like, oh, here's that stinking damn hump, right back, and he's already going to be coming back, and then he's going to go, flanking. Make sense? Okay. So this is our reverse psychology on the horses. Okay. It was before we put simple changes in second level. And I just decided I was going to leave it because I couldn't do the change of lead through the trot because she would just take over. So I thought it's just easier to teach her the dang flying changes and move on. And then Hilda gave me a great little exercise where you got to X, you did a 10-meter circle and canter, trotted on the 10-meter circle, trotted another 10-meter circle, picked up the canter and finished. So after about 10 times of that, she was expecting the circles, and then I could go do it with no problem. So the reverse psychology idea. Good. Good. Okay, one more time with our little trick them into it training. It also a little bit gives him a little bit of an idea about quickly getting into the lead canter, you know, because to me the aid, he was totally ignoring our aids for the change too. Okay, now I want her to do that with the flying change. But tell her to make half halts like she's going to halt. But don't halt. Ask for the change. Please, no, I know you're good. My sister's deaf. When I give her a riding lesson, she won't learn to sign. So it's like trying to do lip reading, you know, thing. It's hard. Okay, let's hope. If it doesn't work, it's your fault. You didn't do it. I like that. Okay, so she's going to pretend she's going to halt. So she's going to ride some half halts, keep her body back, and did you see? You could see him thinking he was going to halt, and then when she did the change, he was a little like, "Ooh, that's a surprise." But yay, at least now we've got a 7, right? So now we can have a 5 somewhere. Yeah! See? Okay, cover one. Good job. Yay!